Hello everybody, it's your girl Shay back with another video. You're watching Shay with the Hobbies. Today I am doing another masterclass collaboration because if you remember, my subscription expires in September, so your girl is trying to get through as many classes as she can. Today is in collaboration with Miguel the author and Author J.C. Carpenter, both who are authortubers, and I am a fans of their channels and was lucky enough to get them to be interested in doing Dan Brown's thriller masterclass with me. So I am super duper excited for that today. I will have both of their channels linked in the description box below so you can check out their channels as well as their videos. I'm excited about this. Like, for those of you guys who don't know, I have a suspense thriller that I am working on that I'm hoping to begin querying at the end of this year if I could just get through this draft. And so I'm looking forward to doing this class and everything that I can learn for this. I think it's going to be really good and I'm super duper excited. Now, I again have not read any Dan Brown books except for the fact that, unlike David Baldacci, I do own quite a few Dan Brown books, and so I do plan to start with Angels and Demons here very soon. So maybe there will be a Dan Brown reading vlog. Who knows? So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, you guys, I am a couple videos in and I have a page of notes. It talks about the 3 C's. The 3 C's are contract, crucible, and clock. The contract is a promise to the reader and a promise that cannot be broken. It's a promise that if you continue reading, I'm going to give you the answer to this question. And so, like, for the start of the book, I was thinking, what is the promise? The promise is that Jamila is going to get justice for the children in the story. Like, that's what she's going to do. But then also a promise that you're going to find out why she felt like she had to do what she's doing. Crucible. Crucible says it holds things together, so the character only has one way out. So it's like the bottom of the 9th bases are loaded. There's nothing else to do. They just have one thing. Like, you gotta hit that home run type of deal. And so it's like, how can I back her into a corner where there's no way out? And I was like, yo, let me bring the FBI into it. Like, something happens to where they're on her trail. So that was like a note I wrote. And then it's a clock, this ticking clock that is always going on each page. And so I was trying to figure out what a ticking clock was. And so I thought that the FBI agent could be this. But then it's like, it's a serial killer. And there has to be a lot of evidence for you to think there's a serial killer involved. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe she's sick. And so I'm toying with the idea that maybe she's sick. And this is like, I'm going out my way and I'm going out with an MF and bang. That's what I'm feeling right now. One thing that I like that he said about like getting into the idea portion, he said finding the idea, never be chasing someone else's taste. Write what you want to read. Choose a topic or world that you're excited about and be prepared to study it. You have to pick something that you're going to stay excited about. And for me, this story is definitely something I'm gonna stay excited about because it's something near and dear to my heart. So there's that. Okay, you guys, so he just said something and I was like, I need to stop right here. Okay, so he talks about a moral gray area. He said that's what makes a good thriller a good thriller. There are moral gray areas for both the hero and the villain. Like, if you just make a villain for the sake of being a villain, it doesn't work. And so I'm toying with this idea that there's not really a villain, but just an antagonist. Because for me, for the story, the villain would be the system. Now, I'm not entirely sure how I'd be able to work that yet. And again, this is all new to me. I'm trying to figure it out as I go along. But that's where I'm like leaning towards. And one way he says to focus on this moral gray area is to think like a philosopher. And that really struck with me because part of this story, part of what fuels this story is a line from a Langston Hughes poem that says, "Beware the day they change their mind." And the whole poem is like central to the plot of this story. So super duper excited about that. I had to let you guys know about that part. Okay, you guys, I just got through the character portion and I am on my second full page of notes at this point. So, when choosing the hero, Dan Brown says, thrillers are full of ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. Their perspective and world experience should serve that world. And so, Jamila's perspective is she has not only lived in the hood, volunteered in the hood, grew up in the hood, she's also worked in the legal system as a defense attorney, and so that fueled all of her decisions. One thing Mr. Brown says is to start with your villain, and for me that's a little bit harder because, like I said, I feel like the villain is the system. But he said no one is a hero until they come up against obstacles. The villain is the pressure or challenge applied to the hero that creates their heroism or their character. To make a hero, create a worthy opponent. And so in this, even though I know that I am working for Jamila to be like an anti-hero, like she is doing a good thing in her eyes, but it might not be good in everyone else's eyes, her opponent is going to be the agent in the story, whose name I have not come up with. I'm trying so hard to come up with the name. I'm thinking about doing a poll about it because I'm just having the hardest time coming up with one right now. There must be a bang villain intro. Be very clear when the villain arrives. A novel starts when the MC starts moving. Thrillers start when the villain starts moving. And so I was like, okay, that's interesting because the whole point for this book is for the opponent to not be as visible until the end. And so I was like, how can I work and maneuver this? So again, so far you guys, he's giving me a lot to think about. Okay, so you guys, I'm at the part where he's talking about suspense, and he's still talking about like character tools, and he says something that I thought was really, really good. He says, master the difference between suspense and confusion. You only want confusion that you intended. Your character should have opposing ideas. Create conflicts because it lets you argue both sides. So for him, he talks about the both sides of the science and the religion argument. And if you've seen any of the movies, which I've watched all three, The Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and Inferno, they all deal with religion and science and where those things intersect, but also where they collide. And so I thought that was really, really good. So he gives us a few things from building the story from the ground up, and I just want to make sure that I list these out for you guys. So it's select the world and find the gray area. That's number 1. Number 2 is create the hero. Number 3 is create the villain. Number 4 is check for the 3 C's. And number 5 is set the stage. Number 6 is writing the finale first. Number 7 is navigate the middle muddle. Number 8 is develop supporting characters. Number 9 is turn up the tension. Number 10 is build the obstacles. Number 11 is remind the reader of the stakes. Number 12 is motivate the character to the next location. And number 13 is wrap it up. So in each of these, he gave little things for you to think about. And so I wrote notes in all of these. But I really thought it was great how he broke down like his 13 things that he thinks that you need to get the novel. And so I am very intrigued on how those 13 things will like serve me going forward, because I'm definitely going to try to use them. Alright, you guys, I am towards the end of the class. I am where he's talking about editing and rewriting. And he said something that I wrote down and I'm putting on a sticky note. It says, readers aren't paying for the words you put on the page, but instead all the words you deleted. And that made me think about how much editing is important and how much what I write is very much important to the story, but not everything I write needs to go into the book. And so I've been writing, and I am at about 1,500 words that I've gotten out. I'm going to try to do some tonight after I get done with this, because I'm kind of on a roll. But I have about 1,500 words, and they're all brained up. And I know not all of it is going to be used, but some of it that I've written I feel like are gems and are going to be fantastic. And I'm super excited about that. Okay, so now we're to the part where Mr. Brown is talking about the process. And he says, be gentle with yourself on your output, but be tough on yourself about your process. Now, by the time this video comes out, I will have figured out what my process is and what I want to do as far as going forward. But as of right now, I don't have a process anymore. I've kind of, the way I wrote last year is not the way I'm writing this year. The things that I did last year are not the things that I'm doing now. I have grown in a lot of ways, but I've also not been as consistent as I wanted to be. And so, like, even in what he said, like, a little bit of it came off like, I feel like I'm being chastised, but I need it, right? And that was a good feeling. That was a good feeling. one thing that he said, and this is the very last thing that I wrote, and so I feel like the very last thing is always really good in my opinion. So it says, the self-doubt is part of the process. Create your ritual and you will do great. And it just goes back to all of these writers have talked about like just doing what you do and consistently doing it and consistently showing up for yourself and realizing that it is going to be hard work and it takes hard work, but every single one of them says that it's going to take luck. And I like that not one of them that I have seen yet has made it seem like you can do all of this and be the best writer and that not be enough. Like, there is going to be a bit of luck with it, and there is going to be, you know, that first book might not be the one that hits. That second book might not be the one that hits, but that third book, you know, eventually something will hit. And it was interesting to see that, like, his fourth book was the one that hit for him. And then all the books before that became #1 New York Times bestseller because they already existed. And so I love that although all of these people are different authors and they all have written in different genres, every single one of them says things that resonates and also confirms what the other says, and that feels good for me. That makes me feel confident as someone who's taking in the content. Alright, you guys, that is going to be it for me today. I know this might end up being another long video, and I sincerely apologize, but I thank you so much for being here and for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to check out Author J.C. and Miguel the Author's channels and videos that are down in the description box below. Let me know if you have taken this masterclass, if you are writing a thriller, what are your thoughts? As always, I'm going to leave some notes in the description, so if you're curious about any of the things that I've said or things that I thought that were the most important or that stuck out to me the most, you can find those in the description. Thank you so much for giving me some of your time, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!